Hello. Would you like a little walk and talk? Good, because I have a lot on my mind, as usual. The other day, I shared an Instagram story, and for the first time, the answer was no, by most people. The question was, do you know the history of belly dance? And after so many people said no, I was like, oh my goodness, people have no idea the rich history and the rich origins and the rich ancestral teachings that I'm passing on through the dance, and only so much can be passed on physically. Being a womb wisdom instructor and a facilitator of women's empowerment through belly dance movements and embodiment, I really think I have got to share this piece, and I think that you all will find it insightful if you don't already know. So let's pack a picnic, grab some coffee, whatever it is, and let's get into the rich her story of belly dancing. The origins come from femininity and from fertility. Back a long time ago, under the starry nights and fields of farmers, women would dance and undulate their bodies in figure eights, in belly rolls, in celebration, because it was believed that it was through this dance that the plants would also dance and voyeuristically enjoy the experience, and that the farmers would actually yield higher crop. In my opinion, this is where the fertility dance began. It was respected by farmers and pretty much anyone who ate food and wanted a high and healthy yield from the land. To me, this is the first tracing of belly dance. It's the first link of the dance of fertility. Belly dance became a rite of passage for young women, or should I say girls, who were becoming women. When a young girl had her first period, she was ready to learn the dance. It's a rite of passage in a way that celebrates the entrance into womanhood, and not just the entrance into womanhood, but what does that mean? It starts to prepare the body right away for giving birth. Once you're fertile, your body is able to give birth, so it starts to prepare your body on that journey. Some of the things it does is it drops your hips away from the rib cage, it opens up the pelvic floor, and it drops your center of gravity to bear more weight. It also helps and supports along the long journey of menstruation and the cramps that come with it. This is before Motrin. This is before epidurals. This is before birth control. This was needed. We still need this. Belly dance helps through every phase and every chapter of our lives, from adolescence to maidenhood, motherhood, menopause. The movements in belly dance have been passed down because they do help. That is the her story. They help us from the internal to the external, from our strongest muscle in the body, goddess bless the uterus, to our largest organ, our skin. Belly dance helps us work with our bodies, to work with our periods. Our uterus is working hard to expand and contract, to shed that lining. It also helps align the uterus and align the cervix, making it easier to get pregnant and helping with fertility during maidenhood years of our lives into motherhood. In motherhood, belly dance helps us because it allows elasticity into the skin. As you get pregnant, it allows the skin to stretch, allows the baby to line up, and then during labor, it also helps us expand and contract and push down and out new life. Fertility dance? I think so. Plus side benefit, you won't get stretch marks. It's preparing the body for every chapter right as it happens or right before. But one of my favorite parts is that it not only is an internal and personal practice, but it actually brings sisterhood together. During labor, there would be another sister there with the woman giving birth doing belly rolls. And this was a practice to help relax the woman in labor, to put her in a trance-like state. So she's actually in a form of ecstasy while literally dancing out the baby and moving in conjunction with her body in those natural rhythms that produce life. Sisterhood is a huge part of belly dance. In fact, this dance up to this point had never been seen by men. It had never been seen by the public. How did it become an entertainment art form? Well, that's the next chapter. Want to sit down? This is where the Gypsies come into the picture and widen the picture. They took the dance from in the homes, from woman to woman, from Syria, Morocco, and Egypt, in the Middle East where it originated, and they took it into the eyes of the public. Physically, because they traveled in different places in Spain and Europe and elsewhere, they actually started to adapt different movements. So the froeo arms come from flamenco dancing that is now added into the art form of belly dance. Belly dance originally was more centered on the hips, the spine, the chest, and the womb. The Gypsies actually brought in a lot of the culture that we know of belly dance today. The coin belts are actually from the Gypsies because as they were traveling, they started to perform this art form, performing for money. The money was in coins and they would sew it into their belts and they would move and dance along the way, making money and putting it in their outfits, wearing their money. Where else are they gonna put it? And so that coin belt now has turned into a costume. So after the Gypsies started to dance this in the markets and the fairs, then Westerners would see this and they, of course, were attracted to this erotic, beautiful, sensual fertility dance. And from the Western point of view, everything changes. Lights, camera, action, shimmy bras, shimmy belts, stages, and voila, a performance art is born from a deep ancestral fertility and womanhood ritual. This is the performance art that most of us look at today and think, huh? It's good for fertility? Pregnancy? Sexuality? And I think, of course, this is her story. And this is the story that I've been wanting to share. So thank you so much for joining me. From the crops, the dancing flowers, the moon, to adolescence, puberty, our cycles, to the gypsy flourishment, and onto the stages. This dance always remains in one place still for me, right here in our wombs. Sharing and teaching womb wisdom is a privilege and an honor. I learned it from my mother, and it's my rite of passage, and almost my responsibility to pass it on. So please share the good word, and thank you for joining me on this walk. Let's make it home before dark.